Hello all. It's really a pleasure to be here. I am Marco and I come from IABG, which is a well-established Munich company that has its fingers in many different pies. The core of AI business is safety. So we are used to doing a lot of testing and analysis on hardware. Well, I say hardware, but it's cars, the entire airplanes, and even satellites. Right? So when European Space Agency wants to launch something in space, they come to us sometimes, and then we have a nice chamber where we test their stuff. A lot of our work is also about defense and security, right? The whole, the industry there, and infocom, environment, energy, mobility, so all these sectors. I myself come from a division called Innovation Center, and our job is to bring the newest tools and methodologies to both our company and to our external clients. And the team that I work in is about 30-ish pretty young developers. We are mostly working with machine learning and data science, and we are dealing with all kinds of projects. We have a pretty strong natural language processing team. So just recently, we have done some real-time Twitter analysis for German elections, both the federal elections and now in Nordrhein-Westfalen. Sorry, it's a difficult country to pronounce. We have also done some, created a system for automatic detection of fake news and propaganda in newspaper articles, something that's really needed right now. We play with reinforcement learning, so one of our cooler projects was to construct a system for industrial software networks that serves as an early warning and counteraction against hackers. Right? We also have a computer vision team that deals with things like analyzing satellite images and also creating a system for safe automatic landing of drones. And again, safety being the core business of IABG, we are very, very strong in the area of safety of artificial intelligence systems. So testing the robustness of neural networks, the biases present there, making sure that the data that you're feeding to your networks is both compliant to whatever requirements you have and that it is not poisoned. Things like this, and we are also very active in the whole procedure about certification of machine learning systems. So our goal is that, for example, when Mercedes-Benz wants to have their newest, autonomic driving vehicles, they come to us, we test their AI systems, and we can give them a certification that it's safe to go on the street. We are also dealing with other general topics such as anomaly detection, and we have built our own on-premise cloud infrastructure for machine learning completely from scratch. So a really wide variety of projects, and this is just a small sample of them. And if you're interested in machine learning, I can bet that among the projects that we have worked on or that we're currently working on, I can find at least one that you would be really excited to be a part of. Speaking of which, I want to talk to you about high voltage, right? So the project that we would like you to work on in this course. In a word, high voltage is supposed to be a marketplace application for trading of green energy between individuals on the local level. So what does this actually mean? Okay, look, I'm not German, okay? So I come from outside Germany, and when somebody asks me to imagine a village, like a rural region, right? So this is something that I come up with. So this is what a village looks like more or less in my head. And then I come to this country, right? And I start walking around and checking how things look like, and what I see is actually this. And I don't know, I'm completely mind blown that even in villages, people now everywhere have solar panels on their roofs. But the point is that so many houses, both individual ones or apartment buildings these days, have solar panels. They generate their own green energy, right? And during the day, when the sun shines and you're not maybe using electricity that much and your home battery is filled, you're producing a surplus of energy that you're selling back to the electricity grid for a fraction of the price that you're actually buying it from the grid during evening, right? When there is no sun and your battery has been empty. So then the question that we came up with is, why sell it back to the grid for this small price when your neighbor might be willing to buy it from you for a somewhat larger price, right? So you sell it for a slightly higher price than you would sell it back to the grid. Your neighbor buys it from a more cheaply than they would from the grid. Everybody wins, right? And the thing that should enable this, the middleware that should enable this, is high voltage. Right, so high voltage is supposed to be the matchmaking app between the green energy provider and the green energy consumer. And high voltage is supposed then to connect individuals to individuals, groups to individuals, groups to groups, like basically everybody to everybody. So again, in a word, it is an intelligent green energy marketplace that brings local communities together. And here I want you to focus on two keywords. So the first keyword is local communities. We want to keep this on a local area so that there are no issues with transmission over long and medium ranges of using some of this, heavy infrastructure, that it is really on the level of a small town or even a city of the size of Munich, so something like this. Also on the side of some, ideation side, it's kind of interesting. You go to your local baker, you go to maybe the butcher, you buy groceries, they're like, you know these people. So wouldn't it be interesting if you could also know the person who sells you electricity, right? Something that is the basis of the modern life. The second keyword here in this statement is intelligent, right? So what is intelligent about high voltage? Every user of this application is supposed to be characterized by their power profile. Now, I threw this graph at you. It's less complicated than what it looks like, I promise. So you see the yellow line. The yellow line is the amount of electricity your solar power plant on the roof of your house produces during the day, right? So 6 a.m. sun comes out, 6 p.m. sun goes down. The blue line is your electricity consumption. So a bit before work, during lunch, after work, you sit at home, you watch Netflix, whatever, you use electricity. And the red line is the difference. So the red line is the amount of power you have not used during the day. This is the green electricity that you can offer to the world to buy, right? What high voltage is supposed to do is to enable the users of the application to construct these power profiles in a semi-automatic way, and then to adjust them for the seasonal weather patterns, right? So what is the time of year, how much sun is there in your neighborhood, what is the cloud coverage, so all of this. And then when both the provider of the electricity and the consumer of electricity have their power profiles, high voltage is supposed to match them in a compatible way, so that you, as the buyer, are not buying power from somebody who is, not generating the power when you need it, right? So this is the intelligence part. Now, I'll just throw two quick scenarios at you that we were thinking of. From the side of the buyer of electricity, let's say that you are a director of the local supermarket franchise in your neighborhood. So you have your building, and your brand is this green, ecological, sustainable thing. You're selling bio products, you're selling organic groceries, right? And you want to attract more customers. So your idea then is to create a parking space for your customers, where each parking space is going to have a charging station for electrical vehicles, right? So then you get more of the more affluent customers, let's say. But your own solar plant is not producing enough energy to power the entire structure, and you want to stay on brand, right? So you want to have this as the green energy. So what you do is you go to high voltage app, and you find individuals in your local community who are selling their green energy, and you win because not only are you now providing green energy to your customers, but you can say that you're supporting local community, right? It's all about marketing. And you can offer the people who sell you electricity to either, kind of pay them direct cash. It's a exchange of goods, or even a share of profits that your car parking makes, right? So it's kind of an investment opportunity that high voltage as an application should provide. On the side of the seller of green power, you saw that these power profiles, they can be zigzaggy, right? So you can have spikes when you're not using electricity at all. You can have dips when you're using too much electricity, right? So this is not really a stable amount of power that you can offer as an individual. So what about coming with other people as a group, offering together the power that you produce? Right? So what you're doing is basically flattening the curve, right? You're making your power profile broader and more stable. You have better negotiation power on the marketplace of this energy, and maybe then you can win a bid to participate in this electric car parking idea. The point is that, and the reason why we hope that you will choose high voltage as the project is that this project is very open-ended, right? So we provide you with this seed idea, and we have a few requirements, and we have some additional ideas for potential features. But what we really want is to see what you come up with. We want you to play around with this idea, to experiment, to be creative, and then to implement it and surprise us with what you come up with. And we will make sure that the project runs smoothly, because we have previous experience with iPraktikum, so that you can really focus on delivering the product that you would like to make. Right? And then, of course, if you have any questions and want to discuss the details, just find us after the presentation. Martin Glass is currently not here, but he will come in the second half, so you can talk to either of us. Thank you very much.